How's it going, Habibis? We got a banger of a video for you guys today because we are playing Shining Sarcophagus. Now, a lot of you guys have been asking me about it, and it's the end of the season. We've been playing Blue Eyes, we've been having fun with Dark Magician in the Duelist Cup, and I figured it's time to bust out the shiny Sarcs and see what they can do. And to be honest with you, I was pleasantly surprised with how they performed. Now, this replay is one of my early ones when I was testing out the deck, and I hadn't played it since last season, and this one does have super polymerization, which I did end up taking out of the deck because I do feel like we're more in a hand trap format, so I started playing more hand traps. I think I put more Duels in over the Shining Sarcs, but obviously you have so much variability with this deck, so many different preferences that you could take. You could play more hand trap oriented version of it because this deck has so many starters in it, right? So here you're going to see Shining Sarc, or I'm sorry, you're going to see Super Poly, but it's not something that I ended up having in the final version of the deck. We're going up against Tearlaments, and we max C them. We're going to end up breaking even on this max C because we're going to stop them pretty good with imperming the Kit Kalos. They're going to set up Sulliak, which is great follow because it allows them to, essentially negate a monster, then go into, rule Kalos. So let's see what we can do here. We have a pretty good hand. We're going to get rid of our Mseti and the other Mseti, draw 2 cards. We draw into that Super Poly I was talking about. Now, the Horus engine is still great for this deck. Now, I really want to know what you guys think are the best engines to play with this. A lot of people have been saying Kashtira. I really like Horus. So let me know what you guys think. So they're going to use Sulliak's effect to send the Kit Kalos that allows them to mill 5. They mill Sharon, they mill Scream. That sucks. They get Diffuse. They're going to grab Crime, and then they're going to go into Rule Kalos. Now they're going to activate Super Poly, getting rid of my Mseti and Sharon to go into their Mud Dragon of the Swamp. And I'm going to say an eye for an eye, my boy. I'm going to Super Poly their 2 water monsters, Rule Kalos and Mud Dragon of the Swamp, to go into my Mud Dragon of the Swamp. Now they're going to activate Rule Kalos' effect to summon it to the from the graveyard. Now, King Sarc is great. I can attack and send any monster to the field from the field to the graveyard as long as I attack with a Horus monster. And they're going to try to put my happy face down. I'm going to use Mud Dragon's effect to protect all wind monsters on the field from being targeted. Now I'm going to make my Horus plays. We're going to go Gadget Trio, grab the Shining Sarc, grab Turn Silence, because I already have the Ties That Bind. We're going to go into IP Masquerena, and we're sitting pretty good here. We have Spell Negate, Target Negate, IP Masquerena, which can go into SP Little Knight. We have a Monster Effect Negate. I'm sitting pretty. I'm happy about it. Now, something to keep in mind, they do have the Black Goat Laughs in their graveyard, which stinks because it allows them to negate any card for the rest of the turn. They're going to negate my IP Masquerena before I can activate it. And of course, they draw into Fenrir. So they're going to summon out Fenrir, which is just an instant boss monster. And from here, they're going to pop off. And I'm like, ugh, this doesn't look good for your boy. By the way, guys, if you want to see my previous video on Shining Sarc, where I kind of went over some of the combos as I negate the effect of the snow in the graveyard there, as well as negate the effect of Fenrir to target using my 0 effect. So I'm trying to use all these effects here as optimally as possible. If you guys want to see kind of how I broke down some of the combos that I like to use with this deck in my previous video, I'll link it above for you because I think it's a pretty helpful video if you guys are kind of new to Shining Sarc. So they're going to be able to search for Crime again, or add Crime back. Rhino Heart is going to allow them to go into Kit Kalos. And I've used all my negates. I can't use IP Masquerena, so I'm kind of at their mercy, just kind of sitting here watching. Don't have a whole lot of plays. They are going to be able to mill 5. Then they're going to shuffle back my Turn Silences as well as my Mseti. So the Turn Silences, losing them sucks because it does allow me to end the battle phase, and it would prevent them from attacking over all my monsters here. But unfortunately, my opponent knew what Turn Silence did. A lot of people don't realize Turn Silence is in the graveyard. So good on them for knowing that. Now I have to deal with the Keldo in the grave. I'm going to summon my Mseti. I'm going to activate Shining Sarc, grab the Gandora G. I'm going to summon Happy, since they are being very slow with their Keldo effect. I'm going to go Dingirsu, so I'm trying to basically, I want to do Gandora last, okay? I want them to use the Sulliak effect. I get rid of the Tearlaments Cash, so now they can't use Sulliak's effect. They're going to banish my King Sarc face down. Of course, when they mill 2, they get to mill Havnus. I'm going to use Called By on Havnus. Now they're going to use Keldo. It's really silly to use it there. I mean, in my opinion, maybe not, because it does basically save their Havnus from being banished, but it gets negated nonetheless. Now we're going to go Gandora G. We burned through all their negates. They can't use Celiac because they don't have a Tearlaments monster, and they scoop because they were about to get obliterated, okay? Shining Sarc and Master Rank, guys. Let's go into some more duels. So here we're going up against a Blue Eyes White Dragon duelist, but it is not us, so therefore they shall lose. However, if you look at our hand, we did brick. Now, the weird thing about this deck is it does play a lot of Garnets, and the Horus engine kind of extends that because you play Happy and you play, you know, whatever third Horus monster you try to play, if you play a third one. But anyways, there's a lot of Garnets, but the good news is we do have hand traps that can hold down the fort long enough to survive. So we hit our opponent with Maxi, instantly kind of giving them a bit of a, I guess, a roadblock, something that slows them down a little, makes them think, okay, I can't completely pop off. But at the same time, too, this is a very mid-rangey deck, Blue Eyes, you know. It's not a deck that typically OTKs. I mean, you could build it that way, but it's very atypical. So them going second, if they had the possibility to OTK, I would expect them to have tried to. I guess they didn't have the opportunity to. And luckily, we drew into a couple cards here that helped us. So now we're able to make our Horus plays because we have him SETI. We're going to do that first so that they do not know what we're playing. I'm going to go Dingirsu. Dingirsu is going to target the True Light, but they're going to Veiler me, okay? I'm going to call by the Veiler. They're going to activate Imperm. We've burned through 2 of their negates now, okay? All because of our Horus engine. We were able to play, you know, get their Veiler out, get their Imperm out. So now we can start making our Shining Sarc plays. I'm going to activate King Sarc again, summon the Dumatef, or send the Dumatef. They're going to go into Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon so that they can pop my King Sarc, because Ultimate Fusion there allows them to pop a card on the field if the fusion material used was a Blue Eyes White Dragon. If there was a Blue Eyes on the field used as fusion material. Anyways, now they shot their last bullet. Now we're able to go into our Shining Sarc plays. Grab Turn Silence just to be safe, you know, just in case they have something else. I wanted to be able to have, you know, a negate for it. And from there, it's GG. So basically, even though we bricked, we still have our hand traps to hold us down, and this deck is always 1 card away from going full combo. Okay, so obviously you're playing in Master Rank, you're going to run into the best deck in the game, and that is Stun. Okay? Stun's the best deck. Maybe not, but Stun is a very prevalent deck in Master Rank, and it is very annoying to deal with. Luckily, we have a wide array of hand traps in this deck, so we're going to be able to make some plays with it. They're going to go search for their Inspector Border with Stun's newest card, 7th Tachyon. And during the draw phase, we're going to activate Future Silence. Make sure you do this during the draw phase so that you cannot get drolled. And speaking of Future Silence, we are going to be getting a new piece of support. It's going to be Dark Magician Girl, the Apprentice of Black Magic. Basically this girl right here, you know. I got a new pop. I'm very excited about it. It's cool. It's like a Dark Magician Girl on Magic Cylinders. But anyways, yeah, the new Dark Magician Girl is going to be a great way to search for Shining Sarcophagus. It's going to be another starter for the deck, so I think that's really cool that we have so many starters. My opponent here activates spell card Monster Reborn, you know, which I thought was really interesting. We're going to negate that because we do not want to deal with Inspector Border. That card sucks. And we're going to just do some big damage to the stun player here. But yeah, guys, what do you think about all these starters that Shining Sarc is getting? Like, I have the theory that they are going to give a lot of support to Shining Sarc in the future, and that might mean less DM support. Now, recently, they did announce that there might be a new piece of Dark Magician support. I could talk about that later if you guys want. Now, Snatch Steal does target equipped cards target, so we're able to use our Silent Swordsman Zero effect and negate that, and the opponent scoops. Silly stun player. But anyways, yeah. I think they're really focusing more on, you know, Shining Sarcophagus, but there is a new Dark Magician card, potentially, that's coming out. The artwork has been released. It looks like a Magician of Black Chaos. And I'm not going to get my hopes up, but who knows? Who knows what it's going to do? Who knows what it's going to be? Maybe it's going to be the best DM card ever. I don't know. Let's go into the next replay of Shining Sarc, though, because right now, Shining Sarc is a decent deck. All right, so now we're going to be cooking up against the best deck in the game, and that is Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes is so freaking consistent, and unfortunately, the latest ban list, all it did is, you know, basically get rid of Beatrice, which Beat Rice, while she was annoying, that was just one of the many elements that make this deck super consistent and super good. So they're going to Called by the Grave my Droll Lockbird. And now I have an Ash Blossom. And they have two ways to make plays. They have the original Sinful Spoils, and they also have Snake Eyes Ash's second effect. And I'm trying to use I want to use my Ash as optimally as possible. Using on either the Oak effect now or the Ash effect is not a good play in my opinion. So I basically allow my opponent to shoot themselves in the foot here. Now they go into Requiem. They're going to start making their Fiendsmith plays. I'm going to use my Ash on the Requiem because now if they use Ash or Oak's effect, it's essentially the same effect on both cards. They have to get rid of one or the other unless they have the field spell, or a Diabell, the Diabell star that could be placed face up, because I knew they had no other face up cards. So now they just summon Flame Birch, and that does nothing. So you let the opponent just kind of misplay their way to a loss, and that's what we did. They play Maxi, no big deal. We're gonna let them draw a couple cards. We're gonna go Shining Sarc. Shining Sarc's gonna grab Gandora. Summon at the Gandora G. I have the turn silence, so I'm not worried. They go ahead and do Link Karibo, no big deal, not worried about it. Summon out Dark Magician, summon out Silent Magician 0, play Ties That Bind. I get to add 500 attack points to my Silent Magician 0 because my opponent drew a card. We're gonna go Gadget 0, grab another turn silence for next turn if there is a next turn. But the plan is to OTK here. My opponent may think, oh, he only has 7,500 damage on the board. I'm gonna be fine. Nope, turn silence boosts this by 1,500 attack. G, Shining Sarc greater than Snake Eyes. Confirmed, okay? This is the best deck in the game. Not really, but it's a fun deck, and it's pretty easy to pick up. Let's go into the deck list, guys. Alrighty, Habibis, this is the goo. It is pretty similar to the previous list we had. We are just basically, instead of playing the board breakers like Super Poly, we are playing more hand traps. So we added in a Veiler, added in a Droll Lockbird. Now, some things I've been considering for this deck, a couple of them, and I want you guys to let me know what you think about it. I want to play the Fiendsmith engine. I want to consider, incorporating that into the mix, see how that works out. So if you guys give me some encouragement, I might do that in a later video, hopefully next week even. On top of that, I've considered maybe cutting some of the garnets. So if you saw my previous video on Shining Sarc, you guys know why we play Hope, Draglubion, and Numeron Dragon. And while it's a great combo with Dark Magician and Shining Sarc, or Dark Magician and Gandora, essentially, it's not something that happens all that often, probably 1 out of 10 duels. So can we optimize this part of the deck a little bit more? Can we maybe cut a Dark Magician, or even cut both of them? I hate to say it, and then all of a sudden we have tons of space to incorporate the Fiendsmith engine and to maybe make some better plays with our Shining Sarc cards. Maybe something to consider. I'm definitely going to be testing it on my stream, so if you guys want to check it out, twitch.tv/KingMatty, drop a follow, come join in on the fun. But yeah, that is the deck list that we're playing. It's a lot of fun. Been having some success with it in Master Rank. Let me know what you guys think, and if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button for me, sub to the channel, all that good stuff. You guys are amazing. The road to 5,000 is near. Can't believe it. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, have you peace and love. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.